Hello, BookTube. We're back for another Wednesday. It's your Wednesday night live, not Saturday night live. It's better because it's sooner.
Yeah. Oh dear. Hi everyone. Welcome back. I'm sorry it's getting darker and darker each time I'm coming online now, so I need to probably invest in a brighter light.
You need something in the front, a spotlight on you.
That's it. Yeah. No, at least this way I can hide all my blemishes. So is anyone there or?
Yeah, there's one person apparently.
Hi Gerald.
I can tell. I think he's tired. Oh, there's two now. I think Gerald's tired of us.
Oh, we missed you the other day, Gerald. You all right? So what have you been reading, Sean?
A few things. I've been reading some Wells stuff, like background Wells. This thing I haven't finished it. I just started last night. I got this. It was really cheap. It's Edmund Goss, Some Memories by William Bellows. No idea who he is, but it's from 1920. Let me just get the date again here. 1929, and has the dust jacket.
Oh wow!
It's falling apart, but I pieced it together and put it in a dust jacket protector. The dust jacket protector basically costs more than the book almost.
Sonny, I just got a notification on my phone telling me you've gone live.
Ah, well, yeah, I get that all the time too. I get a notification saying that I'm live, and I'm going, thank you.
I had a strange one yesterday. I got a notification saying ShawnDStandfast has a new video, Sunday poem, and I thought, he's lost his mind. He's released a poem, for a Sunday on a Tuesday. And then when I actually clicked on it, it said three days ago, but I literally got that notification yesterday. So
that's weird.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but other stuff I've been reading this The Bankrupt bookseller, sort of read aloud, and the letters, the Chesterfield / Chesterton / whatever you want to call it, letters. Yeah, just reading little bits and pieces of stuff, actually. Nothing big. I think I'm going to write off August. August was a bad month. And I'm going to start, July and August pretty well, or the second half of July and all of August was a bad month. No, hold it. August and September. We're actually going in October, aren't we? Yeah. Okay, so I'm a month behind.
So you're writing off July, August, and September?
No, August and September mostly. Are the second half of August and September is pretty well written off for me. I'm never going to catch up what I was going to read, so I might as well just call it quits and move on.
It's a shame because obviously in August probably was the greatest reading event of all time, but there's always next year. So
yeah, I got a couple of the things done, but not what I wanted to. That's for sure. And I've got lots to do. And oh yeah, I was going to show because the my second childhood book quest. The one that's been chosen, the top one is Paddington Bear. So
yeah, I voted for that.
And I can't remember what the order of the other ones were. I know the Magic Pudding is the last one of the 5 to read. But I can't remember what the second one was. And also too, I'll be reading Sense and Sensibility. That was chosen as well. It was not chosen, but it was in chronological order. And I probably will read that sooner than later. And there were a couple people that wanted to read it, but they not in October, and I'm not sure if I want to put it off that much longer. Get it out of the way. You falling asleep or frozen or what? Oh, you froze.
So did you. And then
Oh,
we both went blank.
oh, I was still gabbing away, and
That's weird. I didn't freeze with like my finger up my nose or something. Yeah. So.
but yeah, that's the long about saying 5 minutes to say that's what I've been reading and what I'm going to read. It's actually Australian, Alexis. As far as I can tell, it's an Australian story from the first decade or the second decade of the 20th century. So,
so it's definitely in your time frame then for when you were 8 years old.
well, sort of. Well, that's the thing. It's the whole point is that, you know, I'm going to read stuff that I would have read when I was 5 to 8 years old. So therefore, I'm going to be reading stuff that potentially has a lot of, you know, stereotypes in, you know, all sorts of things, which will be interesting to contrast with.
Yeah. No, it will. It will. Yeah. I've been reading Frankenstein, which I'm quite enjoying, actually. I'm surprised how much I'm enjoying that. But it was so funny though, because and I meant to ask you this this question actually. But like, if you haven't read Frankenstein and you just kind of know about it, you think that the making of the monster would be a big part of it. But it's literally like 3 lines in the book, and I missed it because like I went from like the you know, him talking about, you know, digging around bodies and stuff, to then the monster having been loose in his room or something, and I'm like, well, I haven't even seen the monster be made. And you know, the thing is, I think I got distracted, and I must have just, when I went back to read it, I didn't go up where I should have done, and I must have started on a bit below it, and I missed it. So it's a really small part of the book, which is interesting, because I was talking about it with Greg from another Bibliophile Reads, and he said that you know, probably it was actually a good idea, really, because, you know, she keeps the mystery. She doesn't really have to explain too much about it, but you know, but it's interesting. But what I was wondering, because obviously you know about the films and stuff, how did they go from you know, her version of Frankenstein to what the version of Frankenstein is like in the films? Do you know?
Well, it's got to do with the electricity, galvanism, and because as mentioned, there is, you know, there is that aspect of electricity, galvanism, and that was popular at the time, and they actually thought that it would do that, so they just added that in for the films. But the very first one, which was the Thomas Edison one, it was like, it looks like they took, you know, bits and pieces of sheep and goats and sort of threw it in a box and then did whatever, and then all of a sudden a creature comes out. So they sidestepped it there as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, but it's good. It's very good. Still reading the Yiddish Policeman's Union. That's taking a while. It's also good, but I keep getting distracted by other things. As I was telling you before we went on, I was reading, or I read yesterday, The Postman Always Rings Twice, and I'm halfway through Double Indemnity today. So, but you weren't impressed, were you?
With Double Indemnity, the book? No, not at all.
And did you try anything else by him? I mean, you didn't try Mildred Pierce or anything after that?
No, because it was, I thought it was so bad that it's not that I've written him off, but it's like, I'm not going to jump to anything else immediately. Because I do want to read The Postman Always Rings Twice because of the film, but it's not on the top of my list, definitely now. But
you haven't read The Postman Always Rings Twice yet?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you'd read that and then Double Indemnity, but you didn't like Double Indemnity.
No. It's just like I've only read one thing by Kane, and
okay,
and it's Double Indemnity, and I thought
definitely I would say The Postman Rings Twice is better. I'd say that even already, but Oh, so that's why you looked at me blankly when I was talking about it, about the way the woman changes her opinion. It's quite racy, though. I mean, I was reading it was subject to an obscenity trial and all this stuff, because it's quite. I thought Chandler was a bit racy in The Big Sleep, but he's got nothing on Kane. I mean, Kane leaves almost nothing to the imagination. So.
Yeah, I just like I say, it just didn't impress me. It's like what's her name? She's a big horror writer. Shirley Jackson. What's the big one? It's a short
House on Haunted Hill.
Is it called The House on Haunted Hill?
No.
It's something like that. But it's a fabulous film. But the book was just. She just can't write her way out of a wet paper bag. Like the way she uses language, it's like you're going along and you go, oh, wait a minute, I got to reread that to find out what the hell she said, because it's just so convoluted. And it's like, if you just move that preposition a little later, it'll work.
I'm not sure I fear monsters under the bed, Alexis, because often Elvis goes under there. And he's the only monster under my bed from time to time. So I am sure he would keep out any monster that might want to live there. Is that it? Any other stories?
Sorry?
Is that the book you're thinking of?
No, I've not read any of her short stories. Like her short story, she might be a better short story writer, but and then she might be better in other books. But it's just, again, it's one of those ones that I read and I didn't like her style. Because I just thought it was poorly written, that I'm not jumping to read anything else. I'm not refusing to. I'm just not moving to read anything else. Postman Always Rings Twice is good if you want a more hardcore crime novel from around that time period. Killer Inside Me by Jim Thompson. I've heard of it, yeah. The other one. Known for it. Yeah, it's We Always Lived in the Castle. Yeah, I know that one as well. I haven't read it, but that's what I mean. It's like I'm not rushing to read anything else by them. It's not that I won't. I'll read one or two more, and if I still don't like them, then I probably won't pick up anything else. But I'm not rushing to read them.
The Killer Inside Me by Jim Thompson. Okay, here we go. Bit more recent, according to that. Only 70 years ago, not 90. Because that's what shocked. I mean, it shocked me. The Postman Always Rings Twice is from like 1934, and how much sex and stuff in it. It's a big contrast to the other book I finished this week, which I made a video about yesterday, which was just fantastic. I was talking to you about it. I think the Christopher Morley's Parnassus on Wheels. What a wonderful book! Wonderful book.
Yeah, it's a good book. Well, both of them are The Haunted Bookshelf as well.
Yeah, I haven't got that yet. I think I'm gonna buy both of them. You can buy them in one volume because they're quite short. But...
Yeah, I used to have some nice older hardcovers of them. Not first or anything like that, but they were just nice, solid, and I enjoyed having those because they are nice to have in a nice edition. Mentioning Frankenstein, it just reminded me the Folio Society has put out a limited edition. It's a cheaper one this time. It's only £300.
Oh, only? Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe instead of Amazon wish lists, we should just put our Folio Society wish lists on our pages. It's all right. Don't worry. I wasn't being mean about it. I was just curious because I think there is probably quite a difference in. Well, I don't know. I guess there was sociological difference.
Well, the stuff. A lot of this stuff showed up in pulps, and pulps were always, accused of having, sensationalism, sex, and violence. In it. It's like I'm reading. Well, it's something else I'm reading because I was looking about a cover artist for science fiction, and there was a little essay he wrote in an old 1950s science fiction magazine. But he also did the cover for it, and on the cover is the cover story is the mummy who took a wife, and I go, I have to read that. I have to read that story. So I'm halfway through it now because I downloaded a PDF of it.
Yeah, I was looking at pulp crime art today myself, actually, because what I've done is, the newsletter I put out, I did, instead of going back to school one, because I think we're past that now, I did do for the last issue of the month, I did a Dicktember special. So I included like some detective stories and stuff. And then I had this book which has mysteries you can solve yourself, right? So it sets the scene for you and you have to do it. And I couldn't fit it in because it exceeded the length of the newsletter. So I built a quick website for it. And the background is each from like a pulp, and then the story is there. And then I'll reveal the solutions in the next issue. But it was kind of fun.
Yeah, Shirley Jackson is very popular. Like I say, I just, all I know is I've read the one novel, and I just didn't think she was a very good writer from that novel. But that's not enough I would never say that a person I don't like or a certain person's a bad writer from one book. I usually read everything they've done or close to it, but not anymore everything, but I used to. Yeah, you see, that's the Alexa, like you were talking about the the monster under the bed. It's weird because I watched horror films when I was a kid, and I've never ever been really scared. I've never been scared by a horror film. And maybe that's why horror books, I never really read too much horror. I like ghost stories, though. I've always liked ghost stories. But your general horror, other than Dracula and Edgar Allan Poe, I never really got caught into the horror genre too much. I read a lot of it, but it fell flat. I think in the late 70s, I read a lot of stuff. There was, I was able to get, somebody gave me, I think, a whole bunch of book club editions, like the Amityville Horror, and stuff like that were popular at the time. And yeah, they were okay. I think I enjoyed them, but they never scared me. Hi, MJ.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge horror reader, but I have decided to partake in Victober, because I was thinking, how can I take part in it when I read a lot of Victorian stuff anyway? So I thought, well, I will look up Victorian novels that fall under the headline of horror, because it's October, Halloween's coming. So I do have a list of Victorian horror books that I've never heard of. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of interesting stuff because, well, here raises the question, what is horror? To me, horror has to be, I've said it over and over, has to be supernatural. All the other kind of stuff is horrific, but it's not horror under that way. So I discount, personally, all that kind of stuff. Slasher films is not horror. They're horrific. It's to me, they're the same as watching a Wild West movie or a war movie where there's lots of killing in it and stuff. It's horrific. End of.
I was just going to bring up the what you call it, the books, and I wonder if you knew any of them. Let me change the dum dum dum. So I have a book by Mrs. Henry Wood.
What's the name of it?
Shadow of Ashley Diet.
Don't think I know that one.
Then I have Wagner the Werewolf by George W.M. Reynolds.
Yeah.
Ada the Betrayed, or The Murder at the Old Smithery, but I can't see who wrote it. That's annoying.
Not sure of that one.
There's a book of ghost stories or scary stories by Ernest Reese, The Haunters and the Haunted.
Yeah, he's pretty good. The one thing that I do find is, for some reason, and I'm not sure why, I don't know if anybody's done a study of this, Victorian women wrote some of the best ghost stories.
Well, he isn't. I don't know if he's written any of those in that book. It's a collection of other writers, so it'd be interesting. There's Alwyn by Theodore Watts Dunton, The Brass Bottle by F. Anstey.
Yeah, that's quite popular.
Was Strange Story by Baron Edward Lytton,
yeah.
And The Werewolf by Clements Houseman.
Yeah, those are all sort of, or most of them are sort of, they were really popular at the time. But again, you put all those under.
Popular. That's very true. Extremely popular in their day, but you ask people now, they would be like, "What?"
Yeah, Tales of the Crypt. I remember the comics, the EC comics of that.
I just saw Alexis's. You were saying, "I am English."
Yeah. Question for the two of you: what would you consider to be the first true horror novel? In English, or what? Because most of the time, people actually say The Vampire. That is the first true English horror novel by John Polidori, which was written at the same time, or conceived at the same time, as the first true modern science fiction novel, Frankenstein. Yeah, E.F. Benson's horror stories are really, really good. So is also is it E.C. His two other brothers wrote some good ones as well.
So am I not allowed to answer the?
Sorry, go ahead. You were shaking your head, yes. So I thought you were.
Yeah, no, I don't have any answer. But I mean, I suppose, could there be anything else? I mean, like not English. I mean, with supernatural elements in it. If that, I mean, does the supernatural element have to be scary to be horror? Then for you, it doesn't just have a supernatural.
Well, it generally is. Like if something's supernatural, but I guess you do have benign supernatural things. But
well, I mean, you have supernatural things that go on in the Arabian Nights. You have supernatural things go on even in the Bible. And I'm not being like annoying saying that. There are kind of what we would say. So perhaps, I don't know.
Well, there's all sorts of. It's the same thing as that thing about science fiction. It's trying to put a modern term on something that really wasn't there before, and trying to shoehorn it in. And plus, once that term started, like science fiction, people started writing towards that definition. So therefore, before the term was ever in use or even created, they weren't writing to that definition.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments. I'm ahead of you now.
Way behind here. English and not language both. Yeah, like it's a difficult one to say, but for English, I would hold with John Polidori's Vampire.
Well, I read this like not that long ago. It was the first book in the Gothic Horror Club I got going with, I'm a member of, with Vin from Revenant Reads. And I'm not sure if I would, there you go. I mean, you look at the front of it, but to be honest...
It's signed by Nick Groom, who did the introduction.
I thought it was signed by Horace Walpole for a second. I thought, how did he get hold of an Oxford World? It's got to be a fake. But I mean, you've read it yet or not read? Not yet.
Yeah, long time ago. My friend gave this to me before he went to the Far East.
I mean, it is definitely a Gothic novel, but I'm not sure that I would say Gothic equates with what I think of as being horror. At least not.
No, well, the thing, Gothic. There's Gothic horror. Like that's the thing. It's the Gothic. You can have Gothic without horror elements, but they do go hand in hand.
But the Castle of Otranto, I found it funny. Like, and I think he meant to be funny, to be honest. I don't think I'm laughing at him. I mean, there were, of course, I guess, elements that may have been scary to somebody 200 years ago, but and I'm a big fraidy cat, but it didn't bother me at all. Now, if you look at Matthew Lewis's The Monk, that definitely, to me, I mean, it's been hands down the best of the Gothic books we've read so far until now. I'm on Frankenstein, which I'm also enjoying, but I didn't enjoy any of the others as much as I enjoyed Frankenstein now and then before Matthew Lewis, The Monk. And there were, for me, horror elements for sure.
Well, there are, I think, in Otranto.
There are, but I mean, there are things that could scare people. But as someone, as I say, who's quite easily scared, I wasn't. So that's why I'm looking at it. It's quite mild, really. Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a go.
Yeah, that is a good one. Horror is a relevant topic. Can you define horror? Well, that's what we've been sort of doing. To me, horror, it has to have supernatural elements to it. Otherwise, it's just horrific. And that can be, as I said before, be put in with a bloody world war film or a Western film or anything like that. Or, car chase where there's lots of blood showing. And the same as a slasher. It's horrific. The Castle of Otranto novel by Jose, published under pseudonym 1764, is considered the first Gothic novel in the English language. Yeah, that's the thing. It's Gothic, but the thing is that goes hand in hand with Gothic is horror to a certain extent. But Gothic is something that can be different as well. It has different elements in it. But you answer, Mark, the Bible, but there are horror in ancient classic works, and now I realize how stupid. No.
Don't worry, Alexis. I might forgive you in a few minutes.
Yeah, she wrote actually some interesting stuff. Charlotte Perkins Gilman. She was unusual for a writer at the time, male or female, as far as I can remember.
I did find the yellow wallpaper boring, personally. Sorry, MJ. But I would try something else by her. So, about a real MI6 spy. Well, it would be stressful, as Sean could tell you.
But you see, there could be horrific elements in it. But is it horror? No, it's not. But it's horrific. So to me, they're all sort of the same.
MI6.
Time by Walpole, I start to suspect Sean was a Time Lord.
Yeah, I agree. That's it. Maybe Sean's always leaving his house. He's just going back in different elements at different periods of time. See you later, Bart. You've probably already gone.
Bye.
I think, I don't know, did I ask you on Saturday about Victober? Because I know you're contemplating Wuthering Heights is one. You're hosting Middlemarch, right? With Greg.
Well, co-hosting, yeah. But it's not really co-hosting so much. It's just that we're going to, there's a Voxer group that we're going to read it at our own pace throughout the month. So I probably will do it the reread really slow throughout the month, I think.
Yeah.
Unless it grabs me, and then I'll continue.
Hesiod, it's not going. I haven't bought it yet. I have to say, no, I haven't. So I don't know which I'll get. I'll probably just get the Oxford World Classics one. It looks all right.
Who translated the? Are you looking it up?
No, I can't remember either one of them. But actually, it reminds me before we move on. I don't know if you might be watching, you kind, lovely person, whoever you may be, but somebody has ordered me something from my wish list, and that's very nice of you. However, there is a problem, and the problem is that you'll probably receive an email saying the address is incorrect. The address isn't incorrect. It's an issue with Amazon Germany and their courier, and I'm going to try and sort it out tomorrow. But if it was you, please send me an email so I can keep you updated with the progress. So that's short public announcement service over. And I am going to be deleting my wish list, because if this is it's the second time it's happened to me. The first time I ordered it and it happened. So, I'm just fed up with Amazon. That's it. They're dead to me now. Anyway, so let's go on.
Yeah, well, I've done the same thing. I'm not using it anymore. I was contemplating, as I said to you, Mark, that to delete my account completely off of Amazon. And then I realized that if I do that, I've got a few Kindles that I bought basically in order to use the search function on it, because the physical books I have don't have an index. So I thought it was worthwhile for me to do that. And I realized that they'll disappear, or at least when I did a search on Google, it told me, yes, they'll all disappear. So they are bastards.
They are, and they have no care in the world about it. I mean, and it was an issue that could be so simply resolved, but these big companies, they just lack any concept of logic or doing anything in an easy way. The fact that I think the weird thing is, I don't know how all this logistics stuff works, right? But obviously it works in this strange way, in that this company, I order from Amazon Germany, and this Romanian courier company has now started bidding for taking this stuff, right? And it's only been a couple of weeks. I've never seen them before. And they're not taking this stuff to Romania. They're obviously doing it via... Sorry, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a deep breath.
They're just doing it, I guess, within Germany somehow or other. And they keep handing off to this Czech courier company, which isn't a proper courier company. So what's happening is, every time this Czech company gets my order, they come back saying that the address is wrong. And the address isn't wrong. The fact is that my address isn't one of their designated drop boxes or drop zones. You know what I mean? One of these type of... It's almost like a company that delivers only to their own kind of like... they have these... Sometimes they have lock boxes in small villages, or they have shops, like a normal shop, like a...
Click and collect.
Like a what?
Click and collect.
Something like that, yeah. Like you go to your Tesco's Mini, you can pick up stuff from, Amazon. Like this, yeah. So, but this is obviously a disaster, because you're ordering from Amazon, you have to give an address that you want it sent to. I can't put one of their addresses in there. I don't know. I'm just so annoyed with them. And now I don't even know who sent this thing to me. I can't get in touch with them. I mean, they said that the courier should have emailed them. But why do they email them but send me a text message about it? And I can't change it because I haven't got the email.
Yeah, well, with me, it was like I ordered, I was telling you, I ordered some spices. I ordered some garlic but it was being delivered by Amazon Logistics. And I'd watch them. You get the thing on your phone, and you can find out where they are. They're up the road. They come past me, go over there, and then it's saying 3 stops later. So I'm going downstairs and waiting for it. Then all of a sudden it says, oh, now they have a few other deliveries to make before your stop. And if you watch, they come by my place like 5 or 6 times before 7 hours later they decide to drop it off. And you don't know.
Maybe they know you though, Sean. Maybe they know you.
Well, if they do, it's like this. Well, this book here, the post office was really got me. I'm surprised. This thing, like it was shoved up, and it was like a 50-degree angle. They shoved it into the mail slot, and it wouldn't go in. So they kept shoving it, and it bent it, and it went up into the door. It's like, you have to work at being an a-hole, and that person really worked hard at doing that. It's just, ring the bell, knock on the door. Why do you spend 5 minutes trying to destroy something to get it in? Then I just assume it's lead-based.
Yeah, that's you, isn't it, Sean? Sad puppy waiting for the Amazon delivery man.
Yeah. Well, because nobody else will. Nobody else will, go to the door. They'll be walking by the door and they'll be banging on the door, and they won't answer it in here. But then they send me messages to get their packages. Just back.
Gareth.
Thought I'd say hi, Gareth. I sent you an email, Gareth. Gareth's doing something really, really cool with Ray Bradbury, reading a read through of Ray Bradbury. So if anybody...
Yeah, I saw that, and it's kind of funny because I've just finished something this week. Something Wicked This Way Comes, and with the very literary Carrie. And once I get it, from thankfully not from Amazon, actually, we're going to start on the Illustrated Man. So that's really exciting. And then it was funny to see that Gareth's done this video. So you sent him an email about it. Are you joining in?
Not particularly, because I have too much to do. But I sent him a website to do. It's sort of an institute of Ray Bradbury, okay. And they're working on 8 complete volumes of everything he wrote, with additional variations of the story and critical material with it as well. And it's going to be 8 volumes, and there's 3 of them have been out. 2 of them are out of print now already.
But I have to say, Gareth, you're just coming home from work now. It's 20 to 7, and you're a school teacher. What's happened there? Maybe it's normal in the UK, but
yeah, but isn't it college? It's not grade school, it's college, so they'd have...
Oh, it's so they're over 18, are they?
At least I think so.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I liked it, Spaminator. I mean, I love the way he wrote it. I like the way he wrote the 2 young boys, and it was creepy. I mean, I wouldn't personally, actually, I didn't find it as scary as I thought I might. I don't know if that is horror, is it? I suppose maybe partly. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So
yeah, no, he is a good writer. He's usually compared, Simak as well, because they're pastoral. But the thing is, Ray Bradbury wrote so widely in different genres that you can't really peg him as one thing. Like Simak was pretty well. He didn't stray too far. He did a few westerns, and he did a couple fantasy things, but Ray Bradbury just did anything and everything pretty well.
Mm.
Yeah, sorry, Spaminator. It's complete short fiction. They've got Kent State University Press has 3 volumes out. The first one came out in 2012. I'm not sure when the second one, but the third one's come out in 2017, I think, and that's the latest one. I haven't heard anything else of any new volumes. And the people that are doing it are really, really good editors. But they're expensive. They're very expensive volumes. And even now, like, to get the first one, it'd be over £150, I think, to get it in new condition now, because it's out of print. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's gentle. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Or pastoral horror, I suppose.
Pastoral horror.
Yeah, I'll still take 5 of each. Well, then you can gift me one, Spaminator, and one to Mark. It's actually what? Complete Cadbury, and it's just gross.
Bradbury. Oh no, Cadbury.
Oh, Cadbury Bradbury. Okay, yeah. That took a while to sink in. But no, yeah, Bradbury is good. I'd love to have those 8 volumes. I like even they haven't even put them out in paperback yet, because I definitely buy them in paperback because they'd be affordable then. They might be £30 each, but still that's preferable to £80 for the hardcover, you know.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just had a nice message from the person who actually ordered me those books. So you see, they are watching.
Okay, cool.
Kind of them. Yeah.
What's PHM? You know me and anagrams.
Yeah.
Pre-hernial moaning? I don't know. And that's the cleanest that I can think of for PHM. Oh, Project Hail Mary. Okay.
I haven't read. No, I've read The Martian. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one that I've got to read. Him. Well, I've got Tony Chang. Or is it Tony Chang? I'm not remembering him correctly, I don't think. But anyway, there's 2 that I want.
Ted Chang, wasn't it? Ted Chang?
Yeah. Okay. And Andy Weir that I do want to read.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed The Martian. I haven't read Project Hail Mary, but sorry, I'm just so thirsty, and I've drunk so much tea today as well. It's living freezing.
Yeah, I got to make some tea later. I just emptied out the pot of leaves. I'm so amazed that you put in a couple teaspoons full of dried leaves, and it's in a little container in the pot, and it's just in the bottom, just that like that. And by the time you're done, it's like 10 times the size.
Well, I love the buds, like the jasmine buds, if you've ever seen them, and they actually flower in the water, you know, as they make
really?
it.
Okay.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Thing that struck me or shocked, sorry. The thing that shocked me about The Martian was that I knew everything that was going to happen, but was utterly gripped anyway. That's great writing. No, it is. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. That's why, like, I always, when people talk about spoilers about a book that's like, old, like, well, it was mentioned in the group about spoilers for Middlemarch. Can you spoil a book that's 150 years old? Spoilers, schmoilers.
Spoilers, schmoilers. Yeah, good one. Oh dear.
Mark, you lived in Japan, right? Do you have a favorite Japanese ghost eerie horror book? Ooh, that's a good question.
Not really. Not really, actually, because I'm not a big horror person. I did read, but it's a long time ago. What's his name? Lacifidio Hearn, however you say it. Ghostly Japan, which is worth reading for sure. It's quite, it's old. I mean, it's in the public domain. You can download it, but I haven't read anything else. The only thing I remember was one of my favorite kind of Japanese theater mediums, I suppose. So not but there's something in thanks, Gerald. Yeah, Lafcadio. Is it Lafcadio or Lafsadio? Oh, I don't know. But there's this medium called Rakugo, and it's a one-man storytelling device, and usually they don't have any props except like a fan, and they use this fan as a prop for the story, and they use it in amazing ways. And they have this wonderful method of when they tell the stories and they're playing different parts, is just like by turning their head and talking that way and turning their head and talking that way, they capture it so wonderfully. And the reason I say that is because there was a quite crappy drama, Japanese drama about a Yakuza guy whose dream was to become part of it's an old system, like a lot of things in Japan. You have to serve an apprenticeship, and so he decided to kind of like only be a part-time gangster and then join as an apprentice with this Rakugo company. But there was a very funny story that they told, which I think is quite a known one, called what's it called? Kawaii, because there's kawaii, which is cute, and kawaii, which is scary. Kawaii manju, I think it's called, and it's basically about a scary dumpling. It sounds silly, but it is silly, but it's good. So maybe you can Google it. But no, I can't think of any specific Japanese horror book, like classical one. But obviously there's a strong tradition of Japanese horror film for sure. With like, what was it, The Ring and
Onibaba.
These things, yeah. So, yeah.
A couple of years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, Penguin put out Japanese ghost stories, a little slim book, and that just reminded me of it because I bought it at the time and I never read it yet. So I got to dig that out. I might see if I can put that through. That looked really, really good, and I immediately I pre-ordered it and bought it when it came out. That's all I know about Spanish, yeah. Japan, Spanish, all the same.
Yeah.
What was
sorry.
What?
No, I was just thinking about, you got me thinking there when you said Spanish, and I started thinking like, there probably is a tradition of Spanish ghost stories. There's probably, Italian ghost stories. There's
oh yeah.
I'll tell you what though, there are Czech horror stories, and I've mentioned them before, but if anyone's interested, I would recommend checking out Karel Jaromír Erben. And he wrote this book. They're horror poems. I suppose you can have horror poems because they have them here. Yeah. And it's called A Bouquet, or Kytica in Czech. And it has some horrific stories in it. Like really, I mean, scary shit. Excuse my language, but yeah, I've got a couple of editions of them here.
Extrude your language. That's
extrude my crude language, exactly. But
send me. I remember you mentioning something about that. You're gonna have to send me, or I'll ask you about the details of that.
But they are. I mean, they're terrifying. Like we talked before about the obviously the whipping women and stuff at Easter, and then I mentioned about the devils and things that on St. Nicholas Day and Mikuláš Day. But like the kids, they learn Erben in school, but there's terrifying things in there. There's one thing called Polednica, and it means like the noon witch, and she comes for bad children at noon and takes them away. And she's a horrible, horrifically deformed, disgusting creature as well. And the poem is so horrible too. I mean, it is like you read it and you just feel like, what the hell did I just? How horrible is that? What happens in it. There's actually a video on my channel where I'm reading it, actually, but I can't remember where it is.
I've got to get that. Oh, Spaminator, what's the most popular tea where each of you live? Anything comparable in the U.S.? Well, what's the one here, Mark? It's like dishwater. It's like you drop the tea on what?
Yorkshire tea.
Yeah, is it just Yorkshire tea? There's another one I thought too. It's horrible. It's horrible stuff that that everybody uses, and it's just, and they squeeze the bags. Ugh.
I don't know, PG Tips or what?
Yeah, PG Tips is another one that's horrible, like horrible tea. It's like, but it's the most popular tea, and it's like you might as well just, give me what's left after you wash your dishes. I think it would be better.
Oh, I quite like it. Here is, I don't know, it's hard to say. We have, honestly, a lot of tea. I mean, I thought there was a lot of tea in England, but we have a ton of teas. I mean, anything you can imagine, you can get it. But I would say probably some kind of fruit tea maybe is the most popular.
My friend in Taiwan gets, like, it's expensive stuff. Like, I mean, there's some that is extremely expensive tea, but he talks about some really, really nice stuff that's there. I just go for I like Earl Grey, and so I just plop for Twinings, because it's just middle of the road, pretty good stuff. Book time with Ryan. I'm waiting for the death of the Dalai Lama, because at that point there will be 2 Dalai Lamas.
They're made in China, certified. Yeah, that's probably true.
Huh.
He means because obviously Tibet's occupied by China, so they'll pop their own man as Dalai Lama.
Oh, right. Okay.
One. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what happened there? What's happened here? Oh, I'm way behind here. Reminds me of when there were 2 popes and even 3 until the Catholic Church got that under control. Yeah, but the female popes are really the fun ones.
Pope Joan.
What?
Pope Joan.
Curie or Alexa Curie, or as it will be reported in fleeting Lammy drama. Oh God,
Llama drama.
That's good. Dumplings horror, yeah, should be a genre. Yeah, dumpling horror should be a genre. Quick story. I was banned from a classic literature group on Facebook for making fun of how overly serious everyone was. No one got it. I was finally booted for spoiling a lot of 100-plus-year-old books. Yeah, I just don't. I don't get it. Like, the only thing to me that is sort of sacrosanct for spoiling is crime books, because the whole point is trying to figure out who did it, unless you know at the beginning and then you're doing something else. But that's the only thing. Anything else, I don't care.
I've got my llama here, or Elvis's llama.
Tetley's, yeah.
A bit worse for wear.
Tetley's, yeah, is horrible.
Nice beer though. Oh, beer.
Tetley beer?
Huh.
Well, it's got to be better than the tea. Anything is. That's not real tea, though. None of that stuff is real tea. It's all it is. It's like drinking blended whiskey, cheap whiskey. It's all mixed up from all sorts of stuff, and you don't know where it's been. It's like, people talk about, putting your finger in your mouth. You don't know where that finger's been.
Well, if it's your finger, you might know where it's been.
By the way, Mark, please do a video on your favorite Czech writers. I love Bohumil.
Bohumil Hrabal. Yeah, Bohumil Hrabal. He's great. He's probably, he might be my favorite as well. Although I was freaked out by a book he wrote about cats. And what's great about Hrabal is he's a fantastic author for anyone to read if they want to do one of these shorty September challenges, because I don't think any of his books, there might be one that's like 250 pages, but the others are around like 100 pages. Yeah, they're really short. But this book about cats, it's like semi-autobiographical, and actually, I don't know, it might be fully autobiographical. I hope not, though. He had this country house. I say country house, it's like a cottage that a lot of people had and still have, actually, but it was quite big in communism, because a lot of people lived in these high-rise tower blocks and things, and they would have like a little allotment with a kind of shack on it that was their way to escape to the country. and he had these cats. These cats, I don't know, feral cats, what it was, strays, I suppose, that were kind of living there and on the property and stuff like that. And he would go there and write, and he would befriend these cats, and then the cats would, of course, procreate, and there would be more of them, and they started taking over his life and driving him insane until he ended up like basically going on a killing spree and murdering most of them. So yeah, that kind of put me off Bohemian Rhapsody, but he had his issues because he did commit suicide, I think, even though he was already quite old, which is sad. But he's a great author, really. You should read I Served the King of England. Is probably that, and Closely Observed Trains, which I've maybe mentioned on my channel as well. Probably the two most famous ones you should read. Or as the Americans say, Closely Watched Trains, because I don't know why they can't manage the word observed, but they change it over there. It's like philosopher and sorcerer in Harry Potter. They have to change it. I don't know why. So
Alexis has very good taste in tea.
Do you put milk in your Earl Grey, Sean?
Yes, I do. We smoke tea in America. Too Loud Solitude. I like the title of that.
Yeah, it's Rabel. And also, yeah, I mean, Yuri's right. It's definitely one of his greats. So I would say those three are probably the best well-known.
That reminds me, Spaminator, about Beowulf dies, and you would think it slapped their mother. It was something to do with the Titanic, and the person never saw the ending, and they didn't want to know how the Titanic ended. The ship goes down. I have seen the film Closely Observed Trains, which is a Czech film. Oh, okay.
It is, yeah. It was a Czech film, Gareth, and it was foreign language Oscar winner in 1960, whatever it was. And it is a Czech film, and it's based on this book, Closely Observed Trains, which, as you can see, is not a huge task to.
And I assume that's in English, is it?
Yes. It's an English one. If you want to know what it's about briefly, for Ghost young apprentice Miloš Herma, life at the small but strategic railway station in Bohemia in 1945 is full of complex preoccupations. There is the exacting business of dispatching German troop trains to and from the toppling Eastern Front, the problem of ridding himself of his burdensome innocence, and the awesome scandal of dispatcher Hubitska's gross misuse of the station's official stamps upon the telegraphist's anatomy. So you've got to there's always a nice bit of sex in Hrabal as well. Beside these, Miloš's part in the plan for the ammunition train seems a simplistic affair. Closely Observed Trains became the award-winning Jiří Menzel film of the Prague Spring, is a classic of post-war literature, a small masterpiece of humor, humanity, and heroism, which fully justifies Hrabal's reputation as one of the best Czech writers. So there you go. Okay, you're right. You should give it a go, Sean. You might enjoy it as well. He's excellent.
I'd be interested in it.
You should check it out.
What?
You should check it out.
Yeah. Is that supposed to mean something, or the way you said it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Check it out.
Oh, okay. Oh. See, the brain cells don't work that well occasionally.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah. Well, you're a big cat fan, aren't you, Sean?
I like cats, yeah. I like all animals, basically.
Oh, such a softie. So you weren't one of these wild Canadian woodsmen back in the day going out and shooting, moose and stuff? No?
No. I've been chased by a moose. I've been chased by a black bear. So is the Czech Cinderella film known in the English-speaking world? Oh.
I don't know. In Czech, Cinderella's Popelka, and it's something like Popelka and the Three Walnuts, I think. So I don't know if it's known in the English-speaking world. I hadn't heard of it until I came here, but it's one of those that's played every Christmas, I think. So
Cinderella at Christmas? Okay.
Well, it's the Czech Popelka Cinderella story. So
is it set around Christmas then, or?
I'm gonna have to confess that I never watched it. Right. So.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but it's like another popular Czech film. Who was it? Miloš Forman. Miloš Forman's The Fireman's Ball. It's another one that a lot of people watch. It's quite iconic Czech film. Yeah, Winterland it is. Yeah, in Austria. Well, I mean, there's I think there's a lot of similarity between the Czechs and Austrians. Okay, not linguistically, but obviously culturally, there's a link. So,
well, like it is kind of strange. Well, I don't know if it's strange, but like Christmas, like the Christmas fair here, not fair, I mean in food, but stories is like ghost stories for Christmas, and I guess that's Charles Dickens' fault. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
but like the M.R. James, they did the TV, what is it, Ghosts of Christmas or whatever it was called, I can't remember. So it doesn't have to be Christmas related.
Oh, Germany. Yeah, I'm sorry, Winterland. Germany. Yeah. Well, even then, I'm sure there's some Central European shared culture, probably. Yeah, Miloš Forman of Amadeus fame. That's right. And I think he did. Did he do One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest as well? Didn't he? Was it him?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Gareth.
Yeah.
The Nurse Ratched, I think, was it Nurse Ratched just died? I think. Hobbit is Christmas. You have already agreed. What? Oh, okay. Well, we're reading it potentially at Christmas time. It doesn't mean it's Christmas.
Yeah, The Hobbit, eh? I'm guessing that's One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, is it? Because Amadeus is definitely one of my favorite films, but yeah.
Yeah, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a weird film. There's good elements in it, but then there's stuff that I don't know. I like the actress. What's it? I can't remember her name now. Nurse Ratched, and the Indian was good. I like that. But what's his name? I didn't think was very good in it, but I don't think he's good at all.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, I don't think he's a very good actor at all. So I don't rate him highly.
And he's also in the remake of The Postman Always Rings Twice as well.
Yeah, well, that would explain things.
Interland. I think they made the film in cooperation with the DDR, the GDR. Yeah, that's very possible. I'm pretty sure of it. It's like, I'm sure you'll know, Interland, about the whole Karl May books thing with Winnetou, and when we were talking about it not that long ago. It's the Native American Indian. No, can I say Native American Indian? I don't know. It doesn't work, does it? It's causing a lot of problems in Germany. It was super popular in communist Europe. Yeah. So. So there we go.
So yeah, do you have any talking about Christmas? Do you have any Christmas stuff that you generally read around Christmas, or do watch things?
Watch things, yeah. I mean, in my family, it's the and it doesn't matter if my family is in the UK and I'm here, and we will still watch. Every year National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is just. Of course, corny, but it's fun. It's so good. It is good. I used to love those. So watch that. Reading wise, will try to make. Well, Gerald, doesn't sound very good when you put it like that. That, I suppose, but yeah, he could well have been one of Hitler's favorite authors, but he was very popular here. Karl May, I mean, rather than Hitler. I'm not sure, Aaron, about Beauty and the Beast. If any of my Czech friends are watching, you can let us know. But Dickens, yeah, I feel that you have to read Dickens around Christmas time.
Yeah, I do. I generally try to read.
But I did order that. I was going to tell you before we went online, the ghost stories, after supper ghost stories.
Oh yeah,
because it's a beautiful cover, but it's a great book. I mean, I really enjoy it. I mean, it's no masterpiece for a lot of people, of course, but it's just funny. I mean, Jerome is so good at just being funny, even in his horror.
Oh, yeah. Did you get that edition or?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I didn't realize I already had one of their editions of Saki, actually.
Okay.
But you're right; they have very nice covers.
Yeah, I just don't like the feel of them. It's that silky sort of.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
But it leaves. You have to clean it every time you touch it.
But do they have any? I don't know. Like if you got their version of, I don't know, War and Peace or whatever, does it have any notes or anything in it, or would it just be?
I don't think they do. I think they're just a plain reprint house. But I do like that they're a little better. Like even the paper seems to be, or at least on this one is. But here's that one that you really liked, isn't it? Small Shadows Creep, Ghost Children, selected by Andre Norton. Just because a ghost is young doesn't mean he or she lacks any of the supernatural powers of the adult spirit. The Ghost Child of the Old Nurse's Story by Mrs. Gaskell seems an irresistible pretty playmate, but is really a dangerous threat to the living little girl. It's just such a fabulous cover.
No, it's not. It's horrible. And you see, you forget. I'm a teacher of small children. I have to face these things tomorrow. I might be scared walking in the. Children are freaky.
It's got an E.F. Benson story in here. How Fear Departed from the Long Gallery. Hugh Walpole, A.M. Burridge, Eleanor Fergian. Yeah, there's only 9 stories in here.
Well, it's not a very big book, is it?
No, it's 200, not even 200 pages. It was just funny that Jason Harrigan showed that, and I go, I got that somewhere.
Well, not anymore. Maybe. Not anymore, maybe.
My brother, an amateur actor, played the Indian in the stage performance of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, won a local award for his performance. Cool.
And what are we talking about here? Indian as in?
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
No, but the Indian, as in from India, or?
No, a North American Indian.
North American Indian.
And Chris Beveridge likes Jack Nicholson. It was a new children film adaptation spin-off that caused the whole.
Oh, this is the furor over Karl May's depiction of Native Americans. And
what is your favorite opera?
Well, Wagner, of course. Oh, sorry, no, please don't be Wagner. Well, my favorite is, maybe it's a corny choice, but I absolutely adore it. I can listen to it time and time again. It was my choice for music on Desert Island Discs, and it is The Marriage of Figaro. So
those are well. See, I read M.R. James stories in October every other every 2 years, and I'll be starting again on Saturday. And the Code of the Woosters is always worth rereading at any time.
I always want to say Mr. James. It's terrible, isn't it? I wonder how many people do. They go, "Have you got a copy by Mr. such and such by Mr. James?"
Oh,
Mr.
you
James?
mean Montague Rhodes?
Yeah.
Huh? Huh?
Oh dear. Yeah. Well, PG Woodhouse. Yeah, all year round.
Yeah, mine are in behind in cabinet here. All the Everyman Library, 93 or 94 volumes of little hardcovers.
It is such a weird thing. I mean, why did they choose to print that? Because it's like it's probably the biggest single author series they do, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. Well, the thing is, like when the whoever made the decision, like whoever was head of Everyman or Random House at the time, it went around in the trade papers saying this guy was insane because it was going to be on acid-free paper and sewn as well. And they were saying that he's going to go bankrupt. He's going to make the company go bankrupt. But no, it's sold. Like there are millions of copies of these things. Like there's people that have bought these sets of these, several different sets. They've got one, richer people, they've got like one in their cottage, their home, like different places, or one upstairs in their bedroom, a set, and one downstairs. It's insane. But they're nice. And I when I first came to England, I first saw them, and there must have been 15 or 20, I think, that were out. And as soon as I started working, I started buying them. But I found a bookstore in Cambridge that had sort of returns, and they were like $2.50 and £3 each. I couldn't buy paperbacks for that. So I started buying them. And then I kept an outlook. I kept looking out for them, and I probably wound up paying maybe £3.50 or £4 each for them. That's still a lot. That's like, £350 to £400 for the whole set.
But, and you've completed them, or
they're completed. They're completed.
So put me down for those in your will, yeah, for the what you call it. I felt like when I saw all these people doing their shuffling off the mortal coil, what happens to my books, I really felt like just getting in the comments and saying, okay, well, and I half expected people to do that, to say, if there's anything you want, just leave it in the comments below. I'm getting my will together.
Well, it is something you got to think about and do, especially what's happened to me in the last couple of years. So
I've already decided.
What?
Well, I'm hoping by that point I will actually have my house. I'm leaving instructions that all my books and, well, I'm hoping Elvis will still be around then. If he's not, I'm going to have him stuffed. And I'm going to order that the house be sealed into a living mausoleum with all contents inside.
Well, that was so. See, I had plan A is to never die, and
my plan as well, yeah.
Plan B is to take him with me in a mausoleum, but plan C sort of is getting somebody to liquidate them and hopefully get them to people who are interested in them. Well, there's a lot of stuff that I have that some people won't be interested in, but I think some will.
When I was younger and I thought, I will have, I'll probably get married, I'll have kids and stuff like that. I always thought that I would have myself stuffed, but I would record various sayings and things like that. And I would have a button and a speaker implanted in my chest so that my grandkids and stuff would come along, push the button, and I would say inappropriate things or say stuff or whatever. That's what I used to think would happen, but obviously not.
Don't break the spine on those paperbacks.
Yeah. Why not go there? Well, I did wonder that, Gerald, full on, cremation with me and the books all together, I suppose. Yeah. Could do that. And stuff myself with I could have all the pages ripped out and stuffed up inside. This is quite horrible. But the thing is, it's the one thing that you're not going to be bothered by.
What?
It's like, it's like, with the Queen passing away, for her, the only benefit of it really was the fact she didn't have to watch all the stuff that went with that, right? So it's the same with you. You're not the one who has to be bothered with all this, yeah?
Yeah,
So,
but the thing, well, there is
the
that.
least, almost.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, you just know that if you got something like this, like I've got, like I'm going to have 3,000 to 4,000 books probably by the time I shuffle off. That's, that's a lot for somebody to deal with.
Yeah.
Even if they're cataloged and, right on the shelf, everything spick and span, it's still a lot for somebody to deal with, normal. But then again, a lot of people, they have stuff, like they don't throw stuff up. They have an attic. A lot of families, they just kept stuff. Like, I don't have anything else. Like, everything else I jettison. Like, I don't keep a lot of stuff. The only thing I keep are books, really. Like, everything else can be jettisoned. Like, people talk about clothes, and it's like, crikey, I wear my clothes until they fall off me.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I don't know. No, in all seriousness, I would probably donate them to. I mean, I haven't got anything worth anything, that's for sure. But what I have got, I would just donate them to the school or to the village library, I suppose, because they will be sure not to have any English books, and maybe it would encourage some people to read more in English. And I've got that bus stop as well in the village, so I could have it all put in there. I don't really mind.
But you see, that would be something good to do with them. Here, you donate. Like, I'd give all this stuff to the library here. They would say, we don't want this stuff. They want all the shit that they have on the shelves. Like, you go in there and there's I can't find anything that off the shelf that I want to read. Anything half decent they've got in a different location that they charge me money to get. And it's like, and the stuff that I want, 90%, 95% of the books that I have here, my library doesn't have. I'd have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So you'd think they would say, oh, cool, we don't have this stuff, we can keep it. No, they wouldn't. They would just put it out for a penny a piece or 10p, in piles. So it's like, I wouldn't bother doing that.
No.
Okay, yeah. So now I'm live. Yeah, see, there's my. Well, you can't see it, but I got a message to say, 1 hour ago that I was live. As if I didn't know. Funeral pyre. Yeah, well, that's what the. This could be a good tag. What would you leave for your kids? What do you value that you have been left? For me, it's my granddad's accordion.
Well, I think the thing I value most that I've inherited are my good looks. So. And sense of humor. I don't know. It's difficult. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of things. I'm very sentimental about a lot of things. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's a good.
Oh, I think he's asking, like, what have you been left?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
You've got 3 men in a boat.
Yeah, that does mean something to me for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's sad. Very sad, Gerald, but true. I don't know how true it is here. I mean, we do have library sale every summer, but I do think there's probably a lot of older stuff in the library here. We have a very nice library for a town with only 9,000 people. We have a very, very good library, I think. Although I rarely go there because the English section is quite small. So,
well, when it was just talking about libraries. I just remember when I went back to high school. Like I quit school when I was 15, and I went back when I was 19. And the high school that I went to had an amazing library. I've never seen or never heard of a library, a high school or a school library that was like this. And they were so big on history and everything. Like they had huge sections. Like somebody had a brain, I think, that built that library, because that's where I started. You know, when I went back, I just rifled through that library. The public library didn't even hold a candle to the stuff that was in there, or the literature that they had as well. And I just loved it. And it's like libraries just don't have that. It's like I don't remember. Like there's nothing against libraries should be good, but I've never been around really good libraries. I'd have to go a long ways. Like when I was in Canada, I'd have to go to Toronto to the reference library, and you couldn't take anything out. You know, you had to use it there. See, I'd love to be able to go to university. I'd love to go to the library. What is it called? The London Library. It's the one that you pay a fee for.
I don't know.
I can't remember what it is. That I know has stuff that I'd want to go to, but it's too far away, and you know it's like £500 or £600 a year for a fee to use it.
The problem with libraries, though, is that I just want those books myself. You see, it's hard to.
Well, yeah, well that's the thing. The British Library. I've been in and I had tours, but I've never actually used anything, because anything that I do want, that I would want for there, they would never allow me to use because I don't have the academic credentials. So they don't allow that.
What do you need for the academic credentials?
Well, you need to be studying, you need to be a PhD, or you need other credentials to look at sort of manuscripts and things like that, to do research for things, because there was stuff that I wanted to look at to do things and I couldn't do it. I guess I can understand that they don't want every Tom, Dick, or Harry, with peanut butter or jam on their fingers, leafing through stuff. But it is a bit elitist, I suppose.
Well,
can be.
Not surprising.
But yeah, like it's like, but you're saying you want the books. Yeah, it'd be nice, but there's a lot of books that I have here. I wouldn't, if I lived next to, I guess it's the London Library or whatever it's called. If I lived within walking distance of that, there's stuff that I wouldn't buy. I'd go there and use them. I would be there because there's a lot of stuff, because they've got like runs of journals that I would want, that I would want to consult or look at or read bits through. I'd love to go to a library that has a complete run of the Gentleman's Magazine. A complete run of it, and just sit there. Like go in once a week and just sit there and read articles.
You'll find that in Soho somewhere now.
Actually, there are hardly any libraries anywhere in England has a complete set of it.
All right.
There was a possibility I could have bought a complete set because it was put together by different places that the bookseller bought from, but it would have cost me way too much. But that would have been cool to have. And I don't even think the British Library has a complete set. I'm not sure. I did look one time and I couldn't find out for sure whether they did or not.
Well, I might have to call it a night. I've got to go to bed. You know me. I know, what is it? It's only 7:30 for you, isn't it? So
yeah. Gerald, I have used WorldCat to check things, and I think that's where I did look at the time for the Gentleman's Magazine, and I don't think nothing came up like for the complete, like a complete run in one library. because it started in 17 something and went to the 1920s, I think, something like that. Maybe with a few breaks in between, but I don't think there's anyone that had a complete set, unless I was looking wrong. Oh, there he is. You're a bit late, Jason. I did mention you because I mentioned this. I was showing this because I remember you showing it on your channel, the Small Shadows Creep Ghost Children, and I was saying I have that. Might be on. Oh yeah. You could piece together, Gerald. You can piece together PDFs of them and stuff like that. You can, I think, piece together that.
It's lovely to have you all.
Yeah. And Jason. So everybody's saying hello to Jason.
Well, Jason could jump on and join you, Sean, while I head off to bed. Although I thought Jason was on a sabbatical from his...
Well, that was several weeks ago. It was only for a week or two, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay. Uh-huh.
I'm aware of those gentlemen's magazines. Mark, from the description of a friend, of course.
Yeah, Aaron, that's why I said I'm pretty sure that the only place Sean would find them was in Soho.
Oh, okay. Again, I didn't like my brain is not working that well. It's one of the first magazines.
Yeah, of course it is. It's always the first of any new medium. First pictures that were taken, the first films that were made, you know. So.
Well, is it? Did you get? Were you buying a collection? Still offline mostly. Restocking bookshelves. Were you buying a collection of E.V. Lucas? Essays?
Me?
Yeah.
Was I buying a collection of E.V.
Yeah,
Lucas?
or did you buy a collection of his essays?
No, I want to.
Okay, yeah. He apparently had the biggest, one of the biggest porn collections in England.
After someone else?
Well, after the British Library. The British Library and the Vatican have the biggest collections of porn.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, the British Library has the biggest collection of porn, I think, in the UK. And the Bodleian probably is a close second.
And we can't even get in to see it. Yeah, well, no, it's been fun. It's really, I really enjoy these chats, and it's so nice. It's so nice how it's like. I mean, obviously, everyone new is welcome, but it is nice that it's a kind of a regular group of people, isn't it? As well, it's like, yeah, I guess, Aaron, that's true. And radio maybe as well, but I suppose that would have been a bit, yeah.
Well, that's what film was used. One of the very, very first things when people started making films, they figured out two things that sold: sex and violence.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Okay, well, everybody, we'll see you. Again, we'll probably be back on Saturday, but we're not sure who the guest is. We sometimes don't know until before.
Could even be Friday, couldn't it? Given our recent,
yeah,
you know, who knows?
So we'll see you next time.
Sorry to cut it short, just as it's getting interesting with all this pornography talk, but maybe we can pick it up again next time.
Bump.
Good night, everybody. Take care.
Bye.